Welcome to Ham's Consulting and Inspection. Discussion for today is regarding sprayed fire resistance materials at building construction. So I'm gonna share some highlights during my inspections. Uh, Let me discuss a little thing about the idea of this inspection, the purpose of this construction. So sprayed fire resistant materials is a protection for the structural members of the building. So it's like the last line of defense for in case of fire condition. So it depends on how many hours of rating that the design engineer could require for the thickness or the equivalent per hour rating. So it means once you applied this material to your steel beams, columns. So when at fire condition, this material will protect the structure of the building before it collapse. So let's say you have a thickness of 2 inch to 3 inch or 1 inch, depends on the size of the members that you have applied this kind of materials. So those equivalent thickness has an equivalent hour rating for the fire before before it burns the structural members of the building. So upon inspection, let me share my upon arrival on the job. So these are the photos that I took, been taken. So this is only a renovation. So it's not the whole building. Most likely, if it's a new construction, the requirement is every 10,000 square feet of measurement. If it's a superstructure building, so like every steel was installed, the beam, the columns, uh, and all the joists are steel. But in this case, this is only a additional beam because I believe they have installed a new equipment on the roof, so they make reinforcement for those equipment. So this is a new supports for the roof uh, to carry the weight of the equipment. Let's say probably it's a condensing unit. So there is only a particular area that they have worked on. So this is like this is what you call existing W21 by 66. Those are the existing one. And these two are the new ones. And another two new beams right here. So this is the only installation of the pipe proofing material that they're gonna apply. So it's very important when you're doing an inspection. You need to locate which beams are they gonna work on as additional as renovation, so that you have a guide, so you're not gonna get lost on your inspection. All the details, the information. Check on the legend also. So it was legend here that this symbols is the existing concrete, existing CMUs, connection phase to concrete wall. And these are the existing moment frame connections. Those are the symbols. So when you saw it in the in the plan, you will know which one they're gonna work on, and pay attention also with the notes, plan notes. And here you go. These are the fire resistance rating requirement for building elements. Later on, I'm gonna mark which one I have they have applied for the job. So these are the rating in hours. So these are 2 hours, 1.5. So it means this will hold the fire for 2 hours for the protection of your steel members in the building. So this is the job, the actual job application of the fireproofing materials. This is this is facing the ceiling. This is the new steel. They have applied the material. So when you're doing inspection in the building, if you saw something like this, even in the ceiling, in the slab, it means it's fireproof. Uh, it has a fireproof material. It's fire protected every floor. This is the other installation they have. So, uh, so for the inspection, you need to measure the thickness of the actual material that they have applied. So there is a certain locations that you're gonna measure. So for beams, I believe you have several measurements around it. So as you can see, this is the measuring gauge for the proper gauge for the installation, for the inspection, I mean. And you could do this. You need to average your like you need to average your measurement, like 1 foot horizontally for this location of measurements. So it's like the plunge, the web, the plunge, the bottom, and the edge. So this is the problem here. As you can see, this is probably they didn't reach this side. Probably the applicator, the guy is only spraying the top, and they didn't reach the top, the top surface of the bottom plunge of the beam. As you can see, there's not even a thickness. It's like 0 inches, 0 inch measurement. So it was like nothing. So they need to correct this. And this is the edge. So for this kind of application, uh, it's very hard for the technicians or the applicators to have the right thickness. So they have a certain procedure to make it dry it first before they put the second layer or the following layer to attain the proper thickness requirement, especially in the bottom, because these are wet when they applied it. So most likely all of the wet stuff usually fall before it dries up. So there's a certain time for them to wait before they put another layer. So these are the measurement. You had to round it up to the nearest 1/4 inch, I believe. So this is like the other side of the top surface of the bottom plunge. It's like a 1/4 inch only. As you can see here on the top. So I believe I put this as work in progress because they haven't attained the proper thickness requirement. So I will show you how is the proper uh, inspection reporting for the measurement sample. And that's the whole thing. So take a photo of the whole thing if you're doing an inspection. So this, I believe this is another beam that I have measured. So they have most likely like almost zero right here. So I don't think there is a thickness applied on the surface top surface top at the bottom flange. So right here is like 1 inch now here. So stick 1 inch. This is 3/4 of an inch. And this is like a half an inch. It's almost zero. All right. So it's very hard to make a measurement, especially if it's concealed almost on the ceiling or wall. But as much as possible, at least for verification purposes, you need to have something to show it into your report and as a proof that you have been doing the right thing. Because when you brought it up to the contractor or the engineer, they're gonna ask you where's your measurement if you say it's not good enough. So at least you have something to prove that this is your measurement and this is what you got, and they need to correct it. So this is the drawing plan that I have marked. So this is the installation area for the additional beams, and this is the specs. So it's only 1.5 hour rating, and this is the location, floor construction, including the beams. So for this, I believe this is not a submittal. I think I took this photo from the drawing. So this is the specs. So what you do is you need to ask the contractor to give you the submittals if this 1.5 rating was reached. So you need to find in the submittals what's the equivalent thickness of the material they're supposed to apply on the beam, on the new beams, to attain the 1.5 hour rating of the material, the 1.5 hour protection from the fire of the material. So I show you some guidelines also with the report. This is the sample inspection report. So client should put the client, project address, architect, engineer, site contact, your date, and your name also if you're the inspector. So these are, you could put here the code, the drawing reference. So so this page, I took this from the technical manual of the sprayed fire resistance material. So this is the measurement for the beams. So you need to measure the top flange, the bottom surface of the top flange. Then the second is the web, the top surface of the bottom flange, the edge, the bottom, and so on and so forth. So this is the proper measurement for the beams. And I attach the photos that I took and some photos also that have the measuring numbers. So in this way, you could show what have you done so far for the job. And this is the remarks. So I've done this like 4 years ago, this job. So this is my remarks. Reinspection is required. That's the last uh, comment that I have. So as you can see, I also have the approved submittals for the sprayed fire resistance materials required to determine equivalent thickness, requirement for 1.5 hour fire rating. So so far, this is the only uh, reference point that I have done for sprayed fire resistance rating. Thank you and see you on the next one.